What's up, guys? Grab that coffee out. This is the AmzSecrets show and your host, David Aladdin. We are live at the International Command Center, outpost number 203202. I've built the show to jump past the basics and into the real Amazon core. When the tough gets going, we never back down. I look to understand the person, their strategies, their secrets, so that all of us can build better, leaner businesses. Today's sponsor is AmzSecrets.com VIP, which is a platform of secrets, strategies, and seller tools, including a new tool that's been in stealth mode for a while, launching in about 2 weeks. AmzSecrets guarantees at least a 2x in business revenue or your money back. It's actually Amazon business revenue because I know our guest on the show has a ton of other businesses as well. So I personally have already 5x'd my business and many others have too. Today's special guest on the show is named Jim Cockrum, who is the author of The Silent Sales Machine, who has sold nearly 1 million copies, as well as a best-selling course about creative Amazon strategies called the Proven Amazon Course that has over 1,000 testimonials, 1,000 success testimonials. Thanks for coming on the show, Jim. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to, man. Well, how about we start with the personal stuff and get to that quickly so we don't bore anyone. But I live in central Indiana with my wife and 5 kids. And we homeschool, very entrepreneurial household. Like as we're speaking right now, 3 of my kids and my mom, who runs my Amazon business for me, are all at the office, shipping, packing, sourcing, running that side of the business, while I'm here doing the fun stuff, like getting to interview with you on your fantastic podcast. Right? So I live in the dream, man. I'm here with my wife and kids every day in a house on the south side of Indianapolis, Indiana. And like I shared with you earlier, man, I can't imagine a better life or better lifestyle than what we've been blessed with. I've been doing this whole internet, eBay, Amazon thing for probably about 15 years. It became my full-time gig about 13 years ago, and I've no looking back.
That's awesome. Technically, we're going to look back a little bit. So,
well, okay. For you, I will look back a little.
I appreciate that. Let's start at square one.
Yeah.
Before Amazon, what was your first business? And I want to transition into how you got into Amazon, but I want to see what happened before and what led up to that.
Well, I think some of us are born entrepreneurs, and without boring the audience, I promise not to go off onto storyline in any of these, but okay. Some of my youngest business memories were dragging all my toys onto the front yard when I was 5 and putting price tags on all of them and setting up a yard sale with probably 150 items in our front yard. And I lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere, okay? So I got one of my first lessons about the necessity of traffic in the early 70s. I saw 2 cars drive past our house that day, and yes, neither one of them stopped. So I'm thinking to myself, this is not a good business model, right?
Yeah.
So that was my first exposure to business and to business failure. And then a long string of other kind of little failures, little successes into my career. I sold software for Microsoft. It was the last real job I had. And again,
when was that?
13 years ago, software licensing. And I just got bored with it. I was making good money. Everyone's like, "Oh, you hit the magical 6-figure income. That's impressive." It didn't do it for me. That's just not a lot of money in this day and age. Mm-hmm. You can achieve so much more as an entrepreneur, and I just felt that bug and felt that draw. And I kind of tell the story in the Silent Sales Machine book if people are interested in diving into any of the details of that, because that's kind of how I opened the book. Is this has been my journey, but I just started goofing off on eBay. It started really working. I was making more money on the weekends than I was selling selling Microsoft software.
So you were doing both at the same time?
Doing both,
okay.
Absolutely, and which is what I highly recommend. People come to me sometimes like, "Yeah, Jim, at what point should I quit my job?"
Agreed.
And I say, at the point that you can't afford to work there anymore.
Yeah.
Right. That's literally what I had to tell my boss. I'm like, I see 6 to 8 months from now, I can't afford to work for you. It's too expensive. And he said, "What do you mean by that?" And I said, "Every hour I'm here, it's costing me about $200. Mm-hmm. And about 6 months from now, it's not going to make any sense anymore." And they fired me.
Wow, they fired you? That's bitter.
Yeah, on the spot. Just next day, pack up your stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought I had a great relationship with this company. He was a good friend of mine, and and I had done great for them in the territory. I was doing well as a salesperson, and
Do you ever see?
gone? Yeah, done. So I got pushed out a little faster than I wanted to. But no looking back, I determined that day. I decided I wanted to not only succeed myself, but I wanted to grow the largest community of successful internet entrepreneurs that the world had ever seen, and do it legitimately. No smoke and mirrors, no flavor of the week, launch this, big launch formula stuff. I've never done big launch stuff at all.
Yep.
I'm not trying to come down on those guys. Some of those guys have done some cool stuff. I don't do big launches. I never have, I never will, because I think it attracts the wrong type of mindset and people who have no business dropping $5,000 on a course, and then you overwhelm your support systems. So I've never done it that way. I've just done the slow and steady, add a few new entrepreneurs per week into our community, and it's just grown. Do that for 13 years, man. You've got a powerhouse of an organization, which is what we have now. I've got 70 people that work for me around the world, most of whom I've never met, many of whom I have no idea what country they're even from. And we've built this incredible organization that serves about 250,000 entrepreneurs around the world.
Okay. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on there. I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah, because we jumped from eBay. All right.
And we can go into any of that you want.
Yeah, I'm going to keep slowly going into the Amazon. So you're selling on Microsoft and eBay at the same time. So you're selling at Microsoft software. And you ever get a chance to meet Bill Gates?
No. He wouldn't know. Actually, technically, Microsoft doesn't sell their own software. They use a sales channel. And there's when I was in the industry, there was 7 to 9 big players in the sales channel, and we all just beat the crud out of each other for that 1 or 2 points of margin to sell Microsoft software to corporations. Really is. I mean, it's a pretty boring gig at the end of the day. And no one meets Bill Gates.
The thing is, I think almost every, no offense to people that have like regular day jobs, but I think like every job, I couldn't see myself doing it every single day in and day out. The cool thing with like entrepreneurs, we can do anything that, if we get bored of something, we just slightly pivot and just do that thing for a time being.
Well, I've told this story a couple times. This will resonate with you, David. I told my wife this about a year ago, and I've shared it on a few interviews since. I said, I honestly think if someone slipped me a blank sheet of paper right now and said, write any number you want on this sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the number, write that number down.
I know where you're going with this.
But all you have to do is get up every day at 6 a.m., get in your car, drive for half an hour, stay at the office until 5 or 6, and then drive half an hour home. That's all we're asking. And we will give you write the number down, we will give it to you. I would not accept that offer.
I don't think I would either. I think I know the secret to quitting a job. If anybody out there is listening and they're thinking about quitting their job, just listen to like entrepreneurship podcasts while you're on the way to work, because that'll just like set the tone of the day for the rest of. That's kind of how I left my job, and I was only doing it for 2 years, but there's like this slowly, steadily, incremental change of mind, kind of like perspective of like, I was building businesses on the side while I was working, and it just. Your perspective changes, and you're like, dude, I need this time to create and innovate, Yeah.
Let me drop this on you. See if this resonates with you. We are all entrepreneurs. If you have a job, you're an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You only have one customer, though, and that can be frustrating. That customer is your boss, the person who signs your paycheck. That is your customer, right?
Sure.
I just chose to be an entrepreneur with multiple customers, and I got to pick how I would serve them, rather than my boss, that one customer, picking how I would serve him. So approach your job with an entrepreneurial spirit. Some people will have a job and they have a great job and they love their job. We're not knocking that. More power to you. The economy needs all sorts of people, but treat it entrepreneurial, meaning you're there to serve and to please and to bring maximum value to that one customer, the person signing your paycheck. But for me, I need the flexibility, dude. I go crazy with the work routine of doing the same thing every day. I can't do it.
How much money did you have saved up when you left Microsoft, or when they fired you?
Oh, wow. Nowhere near enough by my standard. One of the things that happens as you age is you grow more conservative